Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Psychic Wives. I'm Ginger Hendry.
And I'm Jerry Carabin.
We're really excited today to talk, probably a little bit, we were always low key, but maybe a little bit more low key today, on a couple of things that have been coming up for us, me in particular, with readings. And one of the things that has shown its face in the last couple of
I
weeks.
was about to say it's ugly head, but we don't
It's
want to go
another
there.
thing. I know, because I really love this whole idea, but it's on vision boards and vision boarding, let's say, which I think has been a term that's been around for quite a while. But I'll tell you, it came up in two different readings that I've had in the last week. And Jerry and I were talking about it because it really sort of lends itself to change, right? We'll talk about what vision boarding is,
Big time.
and law of attraction, which Jerry, as you know, is a law of attraction coach. So let's just talk about vision boarding and what it is, or vision board, what it is. Basically, it is, what would you call it, like a process,
I would
Jerry?
call it I would absolutely call it a process and um, a tool,
A
um,
tool.
a process, a tool that can help you manifest the things that you want to manifest in your life. And you know what? I want to add on to what you were saying. So, okay, vision boards, law of attraction, journaling. So
Yep.
let's talk a little bit about because to me, journaling and vision boards can be very similar. There are two ways, two tools in your toolbox, two processes that can help you manifest the things that you want. Therefore, the two of them lend themselves to the law of attraction, because that's all about manifesting what you want. So yeah, let's talk about a vision board first. Like
Okay.
what do you do?
So here's an interesting, when I first learned of what a vision board was, and this was many, many years ago, I was so interested in it because I had been doing that, but not on a vision board. We'll talk about what that
Right.
actually is. But every year for many years, I used to have this, I kept a manila folder on my side of the table, on my side of the couch, I should say, my end table. And I read a lot of magazines while I was watching TV. Magazines were really big then, right? And so anything that sort of sparked my interest, and I would do it, I don't know, it just sort of kicked in towards the year end. I would cut out the picture and leave it in my folder. And
Yeah.
when I would open up that folder, it would give me like a little charge because I would be cutting out pictures of things that I say light me up, right?
Yes.
Or I had an interest in. It wasn't anything necessarily that I would say to myself consciously, I'm going to learn to do this. If I liked what I saw, I cut it out and I put it in the folder. And it
Yes.
sort of framed my, um, I guess, what I wanted to do
Yeah.
is what
So
it
it's
turned
interesting.
out.
You were doing a vision board before you even really knew
Yes.
what a vision board was. And I love that you just said that, because there are different types of vision board. That's a vision board, even though it's not in a board, it's in a folder.
Right.
But
But it was years later that I actually saw something. I don't remember when. I'm going to probably say Oprah, right? I
right.
don't know. But they were talking about vision boarding, and they had this big like poster board up doing the same thing, but it would be in front of you. So let's say you're in your office, or wherever you would do it, and you would take the things that I was talking about, cutting out things or quotes or whatever would light you up, and you would put it up so you could see it and sort of visualize what you wanted to attract into
Right.
your life.
Yeah.
And I remember it again, not necessarily saying, okay, let's say I would pick something like learning French or speaking French. I
Right.
may never learn French. Maybe I would learn how to cook a French dish, or I wanted to go to Paris, or whatever the deal was. I wouldn't necessarily know at the time.
Yeah.
It just would be of interest to me.
Yes.
So the process of vision boarding, once I saw it, was like, wow, that is so cool. That it was more formal than my little folder that I would tuck things in, but it had the same result.
Right.
Um,
And here's the thing that I like what you said. You said, okay, so here you had a folder, and some people I have a vision board right there. That's on but it's like kind of like in an awkward place. So I never get to it. So the stuff that's on there is kind of old and kind of like, oh yeah, I already have that. Oh, I already have that. Oh, I already have that. Like, because you put things on, and then it could be anything silly. Like years ago, I couldn't wait to get the iPhone XS Max.
yeah,
That's on there. I've had it for like 2 years. So that's an old vision board. Do you know what I mean? For
yeah,
me, and my point in this is it's got to be what works for you. Because for me, like that kind of doesn't really work. But when I kind of was doing the same thing at the very, very beginning, and I probably saw it on Oprah too, but I did it on like a notebook. Like I would
Yep.
just take a notebook and I did the same thing with magazine pictures or whatever. I would cut them out and just tape them in that book. And it wasn't anything, I love what you said too. It wasn't anything like, I'm going, like, okay, I know I just did the example of the phone, but most of the things weren't like, I'm going to manifest this phone. It's exactly what you said, the things that light you up. Like on that vision board is like this gorgeous outdoor kitchen. Do you know what I mean? That it's like, God, that's so cool. You know, does it necessarily mean that I want that exact outdoor kitchen? Maybe, maybe not, but it might be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have something like that? Do you know what I
Right.
mean? So it can start out really kind of vague, or it can be things like, I want that iPhone.
Right.
You know what I mean? The whole point
Exactly.
of it is that law of attraction piece. In other words, law of attraction is, you know, that which is like unto itself is drawn. That's the basis for it. So what you're thinking about, what you're seeing is drawn to you. And so you
Right.
want those to be things that, like you said, I love how you always say this, light you up.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly it. And then, okay, so this thing is sitting across from you and you're looking at it all the time, like, ooh, there's that really cool outdoor kitchen.
It does it. You can feel it kind
You
of
can
lift you
feel
up
it.
some.
And then what happens is you start to tell the story of it. Like, oh, that outdoor kitchen is really super cool. And I love how they've got a pizza oven and that's so cool. And I wonder, oh, that would be really neat on Friday nights to put in. Do you know what I mean? And you start to
Right.
go, go, go. And then the universe is like, got it, outdoor kitchen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some people are really, really specific about what they put on, or some people aren't. But again, it can be a folder, it can be a notebook, it can be a
Right.
board. It can be anything like that. Do you still use a vision board? Do you still have something?
I don't use a vision board, but I do like, and I'm not a journaler. I'm off and on with that. So
Yeah.
it's more in that space that I do. But I remember one of the things that I used to laugh about was this one year in particular, for some reason, I would cut out pictures like colors, textures, like yarns. And I'm not a crafter, right? I don't do anything crafty. And I ended up that following year, my sister wanted me to take a knitting class, and she's crafty, not me. I did it just because she wanted somebody to go. I'm like,
Right.
I'm not, whatever. Loved knitting. I
There you
knit
go.
for years, and I
Yeah.
loved hand dyed yarns, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I had an interest in it, but didn't kind of know I had an interest in it. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? It was
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so so stuff like that. And then I remember cutting out pictures of like travel pictures, Ireland in particular, anything I saw in Ireland that I cut out. And it was probably a few years later before I actually ended up traveling to Ireland. But it just, I loved everything about it. So
Yeah. And so I like that you said that. So again, okay, so different types. You can take a vision board and it can be a board in front of you. It can be, like we said, a folder. It can be a notebook. It could also even be like, I'm looking at the things in front of me on my desk here. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it could almost be like, okay, so you mentioned Ireland. You know, it could be all things around you that are Irish. Do you know what I mean?
right.
It could be the little ring thing. I'm sorry.
The
What is it
clatter ring,
called? What is it?
clatter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love those things. I always wanted to be Irish because I thought that ring was just so cool. You know what I mean? You could have, you know, little snow globes with Ireland in it, or stuff
Right.
like that. Anything like that could almost be a version of a vision board.
Right.
Mentioned journaling. So some people are really, I have a hair in my eye. Some people are really visual, and some people are more word wise. You can do a vision board type thing, but in journaling. Do you know what I mean? Like you could keep a, you know, it's just that story. Okay, so I just went before, like, oh wow, look at that outdoor kitchen. It's so cool. Da 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 da. Okay, well, that could translate to a journal entry, because it would be like, I saw the most beautiful picture of an outdoor kitchen. How great would it be to get an outdoor kitchen?
Right.
We could put it right down where that place is in our house. And it would be great to get a pizza oven or whatever. Like, you could journal stuff like this. Journaling doesn't always have to be about what sometimes I feel, and I might be wrong about this, but I guess I feel that sometimes people journal um, and try to figure things out, or try to, you know, this bad thing happened, why did this, or something like that, or just, you know, a diary type thing. You could do a, I'm using air quotes for people who are listening and not watching, a journaling vision board,
Right,
where all you do is write about things that light you up,
right.
whatever that is. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so it could work the same way.
Well, here's a cool tool that you could use too, and a lot of people are already using this, but you can use Pinterest
Oh,
to do it.
yes. Yes.
I did use Pinterest when I was looking at colors for my logo. I had all kinds of color boards. I don't know why color is a thing for me.
Mm.
I'm not particularly decorative. You know, if you came to my house, I'm not that. I love it when I see it, but I'm not really good at it. But color attracts me. And so I spent a lot of time. And sometimes you'll see, like if you're on Pinterest, somebody will say, or you'll get a message and say, you know, X people are following a particular pin or board or whatever that you're doing. And so
Yeah.
people are following kind of what you're, you know, putting
Exactly.
out there.
I'm glad you said that, because there are also people like, okay, so they're really, you know, we have our phones in our hands all the time, you know, and there are some people that are more technical and they like that aspect of it. So yeah, Pinterest. I had that. I had a Pinterest board for a while, and I found out I never looked at it. So I was like, okay, that board didn't work for me. The
Yeah.
notebook board works for me. I need it in my hands. But I had one that was just called Abundance.
Yep.
Or I just named the board, or is that what you call them? Board?
Yep.
Pinterest boards, I guess.
Yeah, I
I
think
named
that.
it Abundance, and it was like pictures of things that, like I said, lit me up, or, and it would be anything. It would be like, again, the outdoor kitchen, or that's such a pretty dress, or
Right.
look at that pair of shoes.
Right.
But for me, it wasn't about, oh, I want that dress, or oh, I want that shoes. It was more of, it lit me up like, wouldn't it be cool if I was the kind of person that would look good in that dress and those shoes? Kind of, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it was kind of more like that. So it doesn't always have to be a picture of the exact thing that you want to manifest.
And you don't even know. That's the thing when you're doing this. You really need to be at a point where you don't know what it's going to do. All it does is make you feel good. So you don't have to give any more thought to it at that time,
Exactly.
which I like when you and I have talked about law of attraction before and talking about sometimes you can sort of cut that law of attraction power, let's say, by worrying about that's never going to happen. How am I going to get there? How's that going to work? I
Yeah.
didn't have any of that
Yes.
when I was cutting things out. I mean, it's hard to cut things out now because most people aren't buying, you know, magazines and
Or
newspapers and
magazines.
kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
thing.
So I love the Pinterest idea, but that is true. That's the biggest thing when I talk to my clients about law of attraction. It's the biggest thing is the how it's going to happen. Because what happens is, you know, okay, so I want to put down a picture of both our phones are pinging. I want to put down a picture of, you know, a new car. You know, here's this picture of this gorgeous new car that I want to manifest. Then you start, well, how is that going to happen? That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. I can't afford that car. I can't afford. So as soon as you start delving in the how, it's like, wah, wah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So that's what's cool about the vision board. It's like play.
right.
And if you don't take it too seriously, and I'm going to say something about that for a second, you know, if you don't take it too seriously and you just have fun with it, that's when things manifest.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
when things manifest, which doesn't mean that you can't be serious about what you want to manifest. Like, okay, I want to manifest a trip to Italy. Say it's a trip to Italy. So you have all these pictures of the Amalfi Coast and blah, 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 and the food and the beautiful trees and lemon trees and the water and da, 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 all this stuff. You're focusing on that feeling again that lights you up, and how, God, look at how beautiful that is. Oh my God, I can almost taste those lemons. Look at that pizza. Look at that fish. Look at that water that is so gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And that's how you feel about it. As soon as you get to the point where you're like, yeah, but how's that going to happen? Walk away.
Right.
You know, it's time to walk away. It's time to stop looking at the vision board until you can go back to it where you're lit up again, happy again, you know, like, oh my God, that brings me joy. This is going to be so cool. This is going to be so cool. That's one of the things about law of attraction that they say is act as if, like, act as
Right.
if it's already happened or already going to happen. So
Right.
the Italy, if it was an Italy trip, like, this is going to be so cool.
Right.
You know, it's the water, the blah, 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 like all that stuff. act as if it's going to happen. When you're putting those pictures up, or when you're putting those pictures in a folder, when you're putting those pictures in a notebook, it's planning.
Right.
And that's how the universe looks at it. It's planning.
And
You
it
know,
doesn't feel like planning because it's fun.
because it's
And
fun.
the whole I was trying to think as you were talking, my feeling before I knew there was such a thing as vision boarding and whatnot, was when I would look at that, not only did it light me up, but I think the feeling I had about it was all the possibilities that were out there. So I didn't limit myself to say, okay, next year I'm taking a trip to Ireland and I'm going to do this. And I just didn't think that
Yeah,
way. It was so many things are possible for me out
exactly.
there. This is one that really feels good.
And I love that you said that, because it brought up, I just wrote this word down, balance. Okay.
Yep.
So again, the law of attraction, and I follow Abraham Hicks specifically, they talk about what you're thinking about, you are planning. Okay. So what you're thinking about is what you're planning in your future. So what do we plan often? We often worry.
Yeah.
So when you're worrying about something, you're planning that future event. Okay. So you're worrying about, how am I going to pay my taxes this year? Whatever. You're worrying about that, and you're bringing that into your vibration. Now, I'm certainly not saying that we're not going to worry about things. We all worry about things. It's part of life. But wouldn't it be great to find this balance? So this is another way that you could use this balance. Like, I do worry about things. It's human or whatever. But now I have this book of possibilities. And now when I'm looking at that, I'm not worrying. It just made me laugh, because did y'all see the movie? I think it was called Last Holiday. It's with Queen Latifah. Great flick.
I love
It's with
Queen.
Queen Latifah and LL Cool J.
Yeah.
And she gets a diagnosis that she's dying. So she spends all her money and she goes away to this beautiful hotel and all this stuff or whatever, right? But anyway, up until then, she had this binder, and it was called the Book of Possibilities. And it was
Oh,
funny because she works with LL Cool J, and she had his picture in this book. So it's a binder. It's her vision board,
yeah.
but it's a big binder. Do you know what I mean? And she cut out, she had two, a bride and a groom, and she cut out her face and put it on it, and his face and put it on it. You have to watch the movie. It's so cool. It's called Last Holiday. I think it is The Last Holiday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But anyway, and it's called the Book of Possibilities. So going back to what I was saying, balance. What a great balance to bring in your life. Just have
Yeah.
this book of possibilities. And when you think about it, you were the one that said the word possibilities. If you think about it like that, it's not as I have to manifest this. It's look
Right.
what could come to me.
Right.
Look what could come to me. So it feels light and it feels
And
easy.
exciting. It
And
feels exciting.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So the Book of Possibilities. So isn't that a great balance to have something like that in your life to balance out that what if worry stuff?
Right.
And what a wonderful idea. I really, really like the folder idea or the notebook idea, because you
Yeah.
can leave that by your nightstand like you did.
Right.
And what better way to go to bed at night than just to flipping through a couple of pages
Right.
of the Book of I swear to God, after this, I'm getting a new notebook
I
out.
know.
I'm
I'm getting
starting a
excited.
new one. Are we getting all excited?
I know.
I swear to
Because
God, I'm going to do this.
I think that I wish, and I didn't keep them. I wish I kept them because I had a folder every year for years and years. But I remember 100 years ago, I had a lot of animal pictures in there. I wasn't thinking about animal communication, but I was drawn to animals, and we've had this conversation before. When I decided to leave corporate, I wanted to work in something that lit me up, and for me, it was animals. And
Yeah.
so that is the path that I took. But I remember looking through, oh my God, look at that cat. Oh my God, look at that dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the other thing that's so cool is you end up, if you keep them,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Going back and saying, oh, well, that happened.
I
Oh, well,
know. I
that
wish I
happened.
did
Oh, well,
that.
that happened. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I love this whole topic because we're focusing on the not of it,
Right.
not, I've got to make this happen. It's the possibilities.
Right.
It's light. And if you go into anything like that with that lit up feeling, that joy, that possibilities, that excitement. Look at us, the two of us are excited about getting notebooks out, starting a vision board,
I know.
hang up on this call or this thing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so just the possibilities of it keeps it light, so that you're not getting into the how and the when and the blah, 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 like that kind of thing. But like I was saying before, wouldn't that be great to at night, just that's the last thing you see, flick through that at night,
right,
flick through the thing. You wake up in the morning, wouldn't that be great? Grabbing that as opposed to your phone to check your email?
right.
Kidding me?
Or when you're stressed out, the days
Yes.
picking up and you're like, oh, I just, and you open up your folder, like, ah, here we go.
Here we go.
All the wonderful things that make me feel good are in my
Yes.
folder. Yeah,
Yes, I love this. I love this. So again, and the journaling can be it too. If you're not a um, visual person, the words may work for you. I used to be a journaler. We talked about this. Who did we talk about this with? I'm not sure. I can't remember who we
I
talked.
think with Danielle
I think with
Clark.
Danielle, we talked about this, about journaling with Danielle. If you guys haven't listened to that, that's Danielle, Dr. Danielle Clark. It's the Dark Night of the Soul. And we talked about journaling through that. And it's funny because I'm a writer by trade. So I write a lot. I write blogs, I write this, I write for clients and stuff. But it's when I write for myself, it's really hard.
Yeah,
Like journaling, you would think would be a really big thing for me. Not. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? Because I get there and I'm like I don't know what to, but the visualness for me of the vision board is amazing. But
right.
again, we're saying there's going to be some people that journaling is um, really resonates with. So if
And
you
if you think
do
about
decide,
that,
say
well,
that
you
again.
think about that process, right? That journaling process in this vision board way would be much lighter, right? So it might just be
Yes,
funny things that you would like
yes,
to happen, or foods that you love to eat,
yeah.
whatever. It's not
We watched this
filling
great
this up.
food show last night. Wouldn't it be
Right.
amazing if we could, like whatever. So yeah, that would be the only thing that I would say, that if you use journaling as your vision board, name it the book of possibilities.
Right.
Keep that word possibility in mind so it doesn't get um, too heavy. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
we're talking about that, but yeah, I love this idea. And yes, it is harder. I'm thinking now, for a while there, it was like last year, it was like, I miss magazines. Don't
Yep.
you
I
miss
know. I
magazines?
know.
Like it's not the same on your iPad. I miss magazines. So I actually did get, my husband and a guy got a couple subscriptions to magazines.
Yep.
And so they're all sitting and, you read them. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not really ready to throw this out because there's a recipe in the back of it I might like or something. You can always, you can go through old magazines. It doesn't matter. It's not like you're looking for something
Yeah.
specific. You're flicking through it and going, ooh, look at that blue water on that
Right.
vacation to Turks and Caicos. Ooh,
Right.
look at that cool, stove.
As you're saying that, there'll probably be there's some introspection, right? When you go back and reflect on what you have in it. But if you find yourself with the blue waters, you find yourself with like some exotic drink, and then you find yourself, with the sunset, you might be thinking, I really need a
I
vacation.
really need a vacation. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, I used to do that all the time. I used to, when I would do in my notebook, my pictures were always beach pictures and blah, blah. Well, where do I live right now? I live in North Carolina at the beach.
Right.
So it came true.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I wasn't, how am I going to make this happen? How am I going to make this happen? It was just like the possibilities. I could do this. I could do this.
Right.
And we did it, so it's anything that you could want, and you don't have the having it in a vision board in the way that we're talking about. You don't have to figure it out. You
Right.
don't have to figure out how that's going to work. It's easier to let it go to, as I always say, God, spirit, universe,
Yep.
to figure it out. When we talk about law of attraction, there's the three parts of law of attraction, and we've done a podcast on a law of attraction before, way at the beginning. But there's three, basically. You ask, one is ask, two, it is given, three is the get out of the way part. So we ask, and we're asking all day. Doing a vision board, putting things down, is kind of like asking,
Hmm.
hey, I would like something like this in my vibration. I would like something like this. God, spirit, universe, whatever you call it, because of the law of attraction, it's like, done. and it's kind of like immediately done, but it's in this, what we call the vortex. So all the stuff that you've ever asked for or wanted is in that vortex. How you get there is the number 3, which is just allowing. And that allowing piece is being a higher vibration person, you know, hanging out in the emotions of love, appreciation, joy, contentness, happiness. That's how you allow yourself into kind of that vortex. So bringing it back to this vision board or notebook or file or Pinterest thing, that's you when you're focusing on it as possibilities, being in that happiness, that contentment, that joy, that love, because you're like, oh my God, I love that outdoor kitchen. Oh my God, I love that new stove. I love it. Do you feel a theme with me?
I know.
Time to redo the kitchen. You know what I mean? You know, like whatever it is that you put in, I love the picture of the Amalfi Coast. I love that stuff. That's you allowing. And like I said before, as soon as you start saying, but, time to walk away from it, because now you're
Right.
bringing vibration down. So this is just an easy way. It really is an easy way to start manifesting stuff
And to have fun. It is
and to have
really
fun.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
um,
Here's
to
another
really,
thing. If somebody is like curious about, you know, yeah, this wouldn't work. Here's a little game that you could do. And this came from a book. It's called E Squared. Super good book. Again, very much about the law of attraction. You could, they tell you in the, you know, to one day today you set your intention. I'm going to see the number 222. Everywhere I go, I'm 222, 222. So for a while you focus on that 222. And you would be shocked at how often you're like, oh, you pass somebody's mailbox. Oh, the phone call comes up on your thing. You could do that same game with a vision board. So this is actually a really cool way for people to kind of stick their toes in to the law of attraction and to see how you manifest stuff. So you could take either a folder or a Pinterest thing or a notebook and just pick one thing. So suppose it is a vacation and a beach vacation. Like, it's the same thing as what you did with the animals. Okay.
yeah,
So, but this is a great thing. So pick this one thing. What if it's a beach vacation or what if it's whatever? Pick this one thing and find a bunch of pictures of it and put that in your notebook, but just that one thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And make it an easy thing. Do you know what I mean? Make it like something like, not like, you know, I'm going to win $5 million, $20 million from that. Not that. Make it like something that, you know, and put it in there. It could be like that, 222, the number 222, a yellow Volkswagen. We've talked about that, but you know, these kind of things before. Give yourself this little game
Yep.
and make your vision board with this one thing and watch how it shows up in your life.
I'm going to tell you a story. This is God's honest truth about
Yeah.
this same game. I think we've talked about this before, that I'm an adoptive parent. I have two children. And so when I was waiting for my second child, in Massachusetts, you use an adoption agency. So I'm waiting now to hear from the agency. I have all my paperwork in. And I had a name picked out and for a girl. And I asked the universe, I didn't even know maybe to say the universe almost
Right,
30
right.
years ago.
Yeah.
Show me the letter B or the name. And we were on vacation. We went on vacation, and I cannot tell you how many times I saw just the letter B.
B.
The last time, it was like the whole vacation. We were up at Storyland up in the White Mountains in New Hampshire. And my son got on one of those little cars, you know, they sit on the track and the track makes them
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
And he's with another little boy who we had adopted with this family. The boys were friends. And they pulled out, and the license plate, the first letter of the license plate on their little car is a B.
B.
And so I knew it was a girl
Yeah.
coming. And that is, what happened.
Yeah.
And that was the game that I played. And I've done that particular game in all different ways and all different things. I never thought, I mean, I don't remember ever hearing the words law of attraction way back then either.
Right.
So I love that. I love that idea.
I think that we do the law of attraction, practice the law of attraction or whatever, especially as kids without even knowing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. I want that. Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. And you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about it. And there it is, like shows up. You
Yeah.
know, for me, it was horses. I was horse crazy as a child. I was horse crazy, horse crazy, horse crazy. My whole room was a vision board. I
Yeah.
mean, like the walls, God bless my mom, that let me just tack pictures up. The spackling that must have been done by the people that bought our house for my bedroom is like crazy. I would just tack pictures up, and there were horses everywhere, horses, horses, horses everywhere. And I wasn't in a position where I was going to get a horse, but all I wanted was to just ride every single day, every single day. And like not even a quarter of a mile down the road was this girl who owned 2 horses, and she was going away to college, and she needed people. She didn't want to get rid of the horses, but she needed someone to take care of the horses. And who got to ride a horse every single day?
Yeah.
And that's all I did every single day, because I was just horse crazy. So, and that's my point as kids. A lot of little girls are horse crazy.
Right.
A lot of people are like horse crazy. And when they're children, all of a sudden they're either, you know, same thing, skating, this, that, the other thing. I want to skate. I want to skate. So I think we do it just like everything else. We're kids. We know intuitively how to create things, maybe.
Right. And as kids, you don't worry about how.
You don't worry
Right.
about how. I just want it. I just
Right.
So I
Right.
think that's such a cool tool for everybody to use.
Yeah.
Just if you're journaling, take a couple pieces of paper and just write it down over and over and over. Just write it down over and over and over, and feel how good you feel about it. As soon as you start feeling bad about it, or not so good, put it away.
Right.
Take that notebook or that file or whatever and just pick one thing. Because once you see how this works, the law of attraction works, you're going to go like, oh, and you're going to start to like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because what happens, I think, is a lot of people, yeah, whatever, you know, I get excited about that, but then that's not going to work. That, you know, because how would that ever be? Again, when you do this, don't do $1 million or $5 million or whatever, because you're stuck in your head about that. Like you're not going to write down $5 million because somewhere in you don't believe you're going to get $5 million. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Law of attraction always says, or Abraham Hicks always says, it's as easy to manifest a castle as it is a button. But the difference is everybody can say, oh yeah, if I focus on a button, I'm going to see one today. Or if I focus on wanting a button, I'm going to get one today. It's a button. But most people were stuck on like, well, a castle, that will never happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're in the space of that will never happen, don't use that thing.
Right.
But I think that's a really cool little game that everybody should try.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had completely forgotten about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And if you do try it, you have to go to the Facebook page and share your story on the Facebook page about that, because I would really, I think you're going to be shocked at how it works. Again, possibilities, think possibilities. Don't think like, oh, I have to do this kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah, and I think this is a great podcast to do. And the reason that Jerry and I were talking about this is it has come up recently. And it's so funny because I had sort of forgotten that term and that process. And it came up 2 times in a week. And both of my clients that it happened to come up with were men, which typically I would not think.
Yeah, that's interesting because
and I'm not being, I guess I am sexist when I say that, but in my mind, I would think more women would use that tool or that process. And it came up with both, and both are sort of stuck in a place where many people are over this, particularly last year, of kind of being in a rut.
Yeah.
How am I going to shake this up? How am I going to move forward? I don't feel excitement anymore. How am I going to do this? And I think this is a great way to do it without having to give it a lot of thought. It's not like I said to myself, okay, I'm going to open this magazine and I'm going to pick out pictures of horses.
Yeah.
I was more flipping through, oh, here's something to cut out. And it's that kind of thing. I might not be conscious of what might make me happy or what I might want to attract or whatever. I'm not going to see it till I look. I'm open myself up.
Yeah, you're feeling your way through it. Yeah, it's that light up thing. And the other thing that you just spurred me to say is, you know what? Yeah, it's great to use a vision board too, because there's something specific you want to manifest. I get that, and that's totally great. But I encourage everyone to use it all the time.
Yes.
Use it all the time because it raises your vibration.
Yeah.
So all the other things that you want in your life that aren't even on that book will start to come to you. It
Right.
raises your vibration. So this is a tool to do all the time. This is a tool just like meditation, just like these different tools that you do all the time. Again, what I said, like if you wake up in the morning and first thing you do is look at these things that make you feel good, well, how's your day going to go?
Right.
It's going to go good.
Right.
If the first thing you do is reach over and look at your phone, you know what I mean? I've gotten myself in a place right now that, because my phone is next to me, I use it as my clock. You know, it's plugged in, it's charging, and it's my clock. And I used to instantly reach over, literally still in bed, reach over and grab that phone and pull it in and start. And then the next thing you know, you'd be like, oh, I got to get up and deal with this.
Right.
Wouldn't it be great if I picked up the notebook first and
I
got
know.
into that feel good place first?
Right.
And so lately now I'm not even looking at my phone for probably a half an hour, you know, after I get up. Okay, some days it's not a half an hour, but it's not 30 seconds.
Yeah, me either. I don't even leave my phone in my room. I leave it out in the other room, so I don't do
So
that.
you don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've gotten really, really good at it. But think about how great it would be if this is what you picked up and how you started your day, how you
Right.
consciously started your day with possibilities.
Right.
Good.
And everything is a possibility for us.
Everything
Everything.
is a possibility.
And so
Okay.
if you use this tool, we talk about manifesting, but if you use it more in a way that you're opening up to possibilities, then I'm looking to manifest this.
Yes.
I think it is a higher vibration.
It
It is,
raises your vibration.
yeah,
Exactly. And so that's my point. Don't use it just to manifest this one thing and then put it away until you need to manifest something else. It's not about the thing. I think this is what we're just figuring out right now.
right.
And it's
Oh,
not really,
right,
but we're realizing it's about the vibration.
right.
It's absolutely about the vibration. Yeah. And so this has been good. This is a little bit of a good discussion, but I wanted to leave you with this one thing that, again, it was just like Abraham Hicks always says, it's just as easy to manifest a castle as it is a button. They also say this was a workshop and it was a quote that they sent, that I get their quotes every day. And I've seen this, I've been doing this for over 25 years. So I've gotten quotes multiple times, you know what I mean? After 25 years of getting quotes. But anyway, this is one that I love when I get, somebody had asked in a workshop, you know, Abraham, if you can be, do, or have anything that you want, because that's the law of attraction. You can be, do, or have anything you want. You just have to be open to the possibilities. You just have to put it out there. You just have to spend your life in love, joy, compassion, appreciation, etc. But this person said, if you can be, do, or have anything that you want, why don't people who have lost a limb just grow another one? And Abraham's answer is because they don't believe they can. In other words, it's that powerful, the law of attraction. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, please, that's whatever. But it's a belief thing, which kind of goes back to what I was like saying about, you know, you can make a button show up, but right now you don't believe that you can create a castle. So don't focus on the castle right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just focus on what feels good, just for the fact that it feels good.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just for the fact that it feels good. I love this one, Ginger, because I love the way at the very beginning that you talk about what lights you up, because it's actually made me like, yeah, like, okay, instead of using it to, I want to manifest all this stuff. Yeah, you could use it for that, but let's use it to raise our vibration
Right.
just because it feels good.
Right.
Because that's what we're supposed to do in life, is feel good.
Right.
You know
And
what I
it's so funny because this is the last time I did this reading for the person, one of the people that I was just mentioning. I said those words because that's what came through,
Yeah.
was that's what we're here for. We're
Yes.
here to live a life of abundance, of
Yes.
love and abundance. And I said to this, and as I'm saying it, and it's not me saying it, it's what's coming through. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to hear this. This is where I am
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. We are supposed to live a life of abundance, and abundance doesn't necessarily mean, abundant means what it means for each person.
Right.
For somebody, abundance may mean a ton of money and a ton of things and and that's good. If that's what you need and if that's what brings you joy and lights you up and sparks you, fine. But it's more about, for me, abundance in love, abundance in compassion, abundance in laughter,
Yes.
abundance
Peace
in
of mind,
joy
friendship.
and peace of mind, in an animal snoring at your feet. You know what I
Right,
mean? It's like, I want to wake up and feel good.
right,
That to me is living a life of an abundance. I want to wake up every morning, feel good, and know that I'm moving forward, know that I'm growing, know that I'm learning things, know that I'm manifesting things.
right.
That's
And I
a
think
life
putting out
of abundance.
that positive energy, for lack of a better word, putting out that positivity to others, connecting with those that feel the same way,
Yes.
again, is lifting.
You know what? And I'm glad you said that. I had a client text me this morning asking about how to be around, what do I do when I'm around people that are kind of negative? Do you know what I mean? How do I protect myself? How do I protect myself? You know, is it essential oils? Is it, crystals? Yeah, you know what? I got a crystal for that. I absolutely do. Do I have an essential oil for that? I absolutely do. But more powerful is what we're talking about here. Living that life of abundance, being happy, being joyful, being appreciative, being compassionate, trying to love everybody, trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, trying to exude that positivity. When we do that, then everybody around us either has to go away because their frequency doesn't match ours, so we won't see that negativity anymore, or they will change because they'll be like, I want what she's got.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So that is also how we see, this is getting good,
I
because
know.
that is also how we make a change in this world. I've had friends that have said to me, but you law of attraction doesn't work. You have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. For me, my way of making a change in this world is via that abundance, by being loving, by being joyful, by being happy, by trying to be positive, by trying to help when I can, but not by focusing on the negative, by focusing on what I want this world to look like,
Right.
by focusing on the person I want to be, because it's infectious.
Right.
If it's infectious, we all know that when we're out and about and you know that one person and you walk and you're next to them and you're like,
Right.
because you can just almost feel like, oh my God. But then you've also been around those people that like, I want to be by her. I
Right.
want to be by him because he's just so exuberant and positive and everything's funny and everything's great and everything's, if we were all to do that, can you imagine what this world would be?
I know.
Can you imagine what this world would be if we just woke up and were lit up as often as possible all day? That's my new thing. I've said it, what, 8 times, 9 times?
It's
That's
true
my
though.
new thing, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense because we all know what it feels like, that like, oh, when you look at something, or oh, when you hear something. If we were all lit up more often than not lit up in our day, can you imagine the change that we could make?
I know. And I think for those people that are listening that may not be feeling any of that in their life, you have the ability to
You
make that
have the
change.
ability.
You do, because
Yes.
anything is
You
possible.
have the ability to look through a magazine or look through Pinterest and say, oh, that picture is gorgeous.
Right.
I love that water. I
Right.
love the picture of that dog. Oh my God, that cat is so cute. Oh
Right.
my God, blah, blah, blah. You spend 17 seconds. I think that's what it is. 17 seconds it takes for your brain to shift into that. So if you focus on something good, some possibility, something that lights you up for 17 seconds,
Yep.
that's all it needs to compound it, compound it, compound it, to keep it going.
Yep.
We went from vision boards to changing the world.
I know. I know. Vision boards can change the world.
Wow. And you
Oh,
know
this
what?
is
It's so funny because sometimes we're like, I don't know if we have anything to talk about.
I know. We
Apparently we
like to
did.
talk.
Apparently we did. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you to all our listeners. We really would love feedback. I mean, we always say that every time anyway, but we would love feedback on this in particular because we do feel that this is powerful. in general always, but particularly at this point in time and where we are.
Yeah.
I think it could make such a huge difference to
Yeah.
us, to those around us.
Yeah.
So thank you, thank you. As usual, you can find us. Our Facebook is at the Psychic Wives. Our website is thepsychicwives.com, and we're on Spotify, Apple. Obviously, you found us, so you know where we are.
Yeah.
And we
And
hope
YouTube now. Remember
and
YouTube.
YouTube.
Everybody
That's
wants
right.
to see us. We don't. Sometimes we're like a
I
little.
know sometimes
It's
whatever.
the hair. The hair things are making us nuts. But whatever. We are who we are.
That's right. So thank you, and we will be with you next time.
Thanks,
Thank
guys. Everybody. Bye.